Greetings from the command. Throughout the ages, means by which it was believed to establish connections with the divine have been formed and spread across all cultures and peoples. We do not wish for you to see this as something evil, but it is evidently important that you consider the infiltrations and intentions behind religions that have spread over the eras. Many dominant entities saw it as an opportunity for control. No great avatar who descended into the physicality of Earth had any intention of controlling or amassing people around their existence and teachings, much less claiming these people as their own or as holders of an absolute truth. This was never the case. Everyone on Earth has total freedom to hold independent opinions, but this does not imply they are the truth. Religions have naturally formed around teachings, and one cannot deny that the hidden power that has dominated Earth for so many generations knew this was a means by which they could appropriate people's free will and faith to manipulate, direct, and impose conditions not in tune with the truth of the highest Creator. It is clear that inciting fear through the doctrine of hell would force people to do what a God created by man desired. Anyone with the slightest balanced and lucid reasoning knows that it makes no sense for a God of love to send his creation to eternal damnation if they do not do his will. The Supreme Creator endowed all with consciousness, which calls everyone to reason through and for love, but never pushes souls into the abyss as punishment, when the abyss itself is a creation of the disharmony of the mind. The ecclesiastical leaders, at the beginning, were heavily bombarded by entities from outside Earth to create a doctrine based on fear and hell, distorting the teachings of the Avatar Christ. Christ himself taught the need to trust in inner truth rather than amassing around oneself stones and bricks. While it is not inherently wrong or bad to go to a temple or church, it is important that your faith, above all, is sustained within yourself and in your own inner convictions aligned with your divine higher bodies. And going to a temple or church should be to nourish even more that faith that exists within you, not because you believe that only by being there, externally to yourself, you will find salvation or anything like that. The divine forces assist all religions on earth and provide help to all their followers. When someone goes to a church, temple, or various spiritual doctrine centers, the spiritual angels who assist humanity collaborate and manifest themselves, often during the inherent rituals in these places, and of course, people's faith allows this manifestation. Even though the dark side may infiltrate through those called priests and leaders, God's love never abandons anyone in his creation, and the light, sustained by so many followers of these doctrines, ensures the maintenance of true spirituality in these environments. Therefore, we do not wish for you to see these means of connection as bad, quite the contrary, they are sources of interconnection with the divine. We want you to know that, just as these are means for connecting with the divine, they can also be means by which manipulation often occurs, and not surprisingly, many souls have been trapped in the doctrines they received, leaving them without a real connection. At the very least, understand that if you are in one of these environments, ask yourself, does this make me feel free, good, happy, and at peace? Does it make me a better, more worthy person? And most importantly, does it make me love and respect my brothers and sisters unconditionally, without judgment? These are the essential questions that need to be answered in your heart when you question if you are in the right place. The pillars of all religions will collapse generally, inevitably, with our arrival, the pillars of all religions will collapse, as all of them, in some way, have been prevented from speaking more freely about us. These impediments have always occurred subtly and often almost imperceptibly. Our presence will destroy the belief base rooted in containment pillars, when your mind and knowledge cannot expand beyond that space, and it will show a new cosmic horizon, and finally, the walls and bricks will no longer be able to confine you with limited information, but will be forced to look beyond the windows and finally perceive that there has always been much more out there. Clearly, many people will be resistant to abandoning the beliefs they have always held about life and the universe, especially when they learn they were the only form of life in this entire system. This is understandable to us, and we do not wish to cause any mental trauma, considering how challenging their current condition already is, particularly when they have been subjected to brainwashing indoctrination, as in many cases. However, we must also state that the truth that they have never been alone in the universe needs to be explicitly stated and evidenced, because the closure imposed by the darkness must come to an end. All those who have been brainwashed will receive more than special attention to restore their cosmic clarity and finally be able to think for themselves. We want you to know that the only religion is love, and all the avatars who have been among you on earth were unanimous in this regard. They never created division, as is seen today in many religions. They never set their followers against each other, as is often seen today. They never exalted themselves above others, diminishing their achievements, nor did they say that what they taught was better or superior, just that love was the way. Love one another was always the keyword of the masters, and distortion occurs when unbalanced minds invite unbalanced entities. Connection with God. We do not want you to understand the end of religions as the end of the connection with God, rather, quite the opposite. We want you to understand that, inevitably, you will perceive that unity with God is beyond this, beyond religions and our presence. God is, and always should be, the source that unites everything, regardless of culture, race, or creed. The end of religions, in fact, is the beginning of true unity with God, when finally all cultures, races, and creeds will be unified in universal fraternal love without distinction or any religious, cultural, racial, or belief-based prejudice. It's important to understand that in no way will you lose your personality or personal identity, but rather you will finally be able to be yourselves, believing and holding as truth the internal foundation of your souls, no longer being subjects of external manipulation. The belief in God will change because you will finally stop believing in God and start being God in unification. This is an official message from the Ashtar command. We do not want to create a doctrine or for people to gather around it and form a new religion, quite the opposite. We wish for you to understand that you and God are one, and the way we communicate today will become very common in the future, for telepathy will become very natural and is the universal, unfiltered form of communication when love connects all races of Earth and the cosmic space. We are the Ashtar command, and we have been very active lately. Adonai.